Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I hope everyone is well this evening. So, here we are at BSL Blethers again, and the topic of our talk tonight is relevant because soon, what do we have happening? We have Christmas. So, tonight, we're going to talk about healthy food for Christmas. It's fast approaching, we only have a few weeks left. So, yeah, time is upon us, so we're going to have a chat about that tonight. So it means when we're going through Christmas, going through the festive, we can think about what we're eating, think about whether it's healthy food or whether there's food there we should avoid, or what might be better for us nutritionally. So we've brought along a guest tonight. We've brought along Naomi. So she is joining us to talk about the importance of healthy eating during Christmas. I know everyone wants to enjoy the festive and enjoy that time with family and friends, eating and enjoying perhaps a drink if that's what you like to do. But it's important to think about the healthy options. So Naomi is going to talk us through those tonight. If you have any questions, we welcome those. So please post your questions and we will try and post those during the session over the next hour. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Naomi. Hi, Naomi.
Hello there, everyone. I'm delighted to be here.
Now, the last time you joined us, was it around 2 years ago?
It was
Oh,
indeed, and hasn't time flown since then?
it really has. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us again. I know you're a very busy woman.
My
But
pleasure.
it's lovely to see you again. And as I said to our audience, we have Christmas coming along and we want to talk about healthy food options. Now, I can see you have an array of some delicious food and drink there for us this evening.
I'm all ready and can't wait to get into it.
So perhaps why don't we start with your name and your role, what you've been doing.
So, I'm a qualified nutritional therapist, and my job is to help people achieve optimum health through healthy eating. I've got lots of examples here of what I'm going to be talking about, and this is because food has such an impact on the body.
Of
The
course.
more we focus on healthy eating, the better we're going to feel. And I do a lot of work with mostly private clients. Often they are deaf people themselves, not just deaf people, but a lot of deaf people. And quite often people just want to feel better. Sometimes they do have specific health issues, such as going through the menopause. That's one area of work that I would focus on. Perhaps they want to lose weight, or they just want to have more energy, or even they have a specific gut issue ongoing. Or perhaps they've got high blood sugar levels to do with type 2 diabetes, which again is very prevalent at the minute. So, my role is to help people really improve their health through healthy eating.
Can I go back a little, Naomi? You were talking about, why is it so important? Where did you start this journey?
I've been qualified for about 7 or 8 years now. And gosh, time really has flown in. But I've always worked in a kind of sciencey type field. I have a science type background from university days and then through my career. But I've always just loved working directly with people. And being a nutritional therapist is the ideal role for me. I absolutely love my job.
Yeah, I've heard so much great feedback about your role, and you've really changed a lot of people's lives. I know their health, their well-being. So I hope tonight you'll be able to give us some tips and
I hope
information to
so
help our
too.
audience.
I hope so too.
Now, I know you've been qualified for such a long time, but there was something specific new to your role. Can you give us some information on that, please?
Absolutely. I'm very busy because I'm actually studying phlebotomy.
Oh, what is that?
Phlebotomy is about taking blood, and it's the study of blood. Because I often recommend people for blood tests. That's part of what I do. But we don't have any deaf phlebotomists out there. And so if you have a specific issue around your blood, obviously, if you go to a phlebotomist, they tend to wear a mask and then communication isn't possible. So I'm in the process and I should qualify soon. I think by the end of December, I'll be a qualified phlebotomist.
What? That is amazing. So when you become qualified, then if a deaf person goes for a blood test, do they give you the results? Is that something you're involved in?
There are options. At the minute, we can get blood kits organized and I can do the whole package for them. Or you can get it taken off and sent off to another company. Or it may be that they want a private test done, in which case I'll be able to provide that for them by taking the bloods and then doing the analysis. So it varies, but communication for many people is the biggest issue when you're deaf, and going out to someone who typically wears a mask when they're doing the bloods can cause so many issues.
That is so lovely that you'll be sharing that first language. So that's great. So yeah, any our audience out there has an issue with their bloods, they can obviously get in contact with Naomi. That's lovely. I'm so delighted that we'll have someone within the deaf community who can offer that advice
Oh, thank you for
therapy.
your
Thank you.
constructive comments. That's very helpful.
Okay, so let's move on to talking about some healthy foods. Now, I know that it's really important for people to think about with Christmas coming and overindulging in food and drink. Why is it so important for people to think about healthy eating?
Obviously, Christmas is an exciting time for many people, time when you're going to be with family and friends, and there'll be parties and time with other people. And it's all fun and it's very sociable. But I'm also aware it can be a time of great anxiety.
And people feel anxious during that time, do you think?
Absolutely. For a lot of deaf people, their wider families aren't deaf, and they could be the only deaf person. There can be struggles around communication in that context. They can feel isolated within a crowd. And so I think for many people, it can be a great time, but it can also be a lonely time too.
Of course.
S- And so what my I recommend is that people plan in advance. We all know Christmas is coming, and let's put ourselves first. So if I put myself first and how to look after myself, I take a good approach to Christmas.
Thank you. That makes complete sense. So, can I ask as well? We're going to talk about some different foods, and I know you've brought along some photos tonight. So let's have a look at one of those in relation to Christmas. This is a snack you normally have at an event, perhaps a Christmas party. Oh, that looks lovely. I'm hungry just looking at that, Naomi.
Oh, me too. And actually, I have a tray of those here.
Oh, lovely. You made those.
Now, the picture probably looks a bit better than what you can see here. That's taken professionally. That's an example of canapes. So often when you go to a party, a house party, or wherever it is, everybody arrives in and it's finger food, canapes, just something you can just lift and nibble on. And typically that's taken before you sit down for a meal. Quite often what you will see with canapes will be things that are mass produced and they're they're frozen, and things like pigs in blankets or sausage rolls, that kind of thing. Or if you're served those or spring rolls, things like that. Um, what I want to show you are some examples of things that you can make yourself, very easy to make. And the ones that I have here are called blini. And blini, then I make those out of buckwheat flour with egg, and of course, this
Oh,
almond milk.
bring that closer. Yeah, oh, thank you. Almond milk. Lovely.
almond milk. So you make a mixture, make the blinis, and then a range of toppings. As you can see, I've got salmon here, which is very healthy, avocados, mashed up,
Oh, yeah.
which are really healthy, and I've got some mackerel as well, chopped up, very easy, so healthy, and also lovely little blini, lovely little canapes just to serve for finger food. You see them there?
Oh,
Mm.
yeah, so very lovely. Oh, where's mine? Come on,
Mhm.
where's mine? Yeah, you
I'll
need to,
throw them over.
yeah, get them in the post.
These are all healthy and so easy to make. You don't need to go to the shops for them. You can buy the blini already made. That is possible, but you'll typically they're made with oils that you wouldn't want to cook with, such as rapeseed oil, or perhaps they'll have sugar included. They're so easy to make at home that I would recommend you make your own. Also, you can make them in advance and freeze them. Make a big batch of blini, maybe say 50,
Wow,
and put a whole batch away in the freezer. And when you keep them for the next party that you're going to host, then that makes everything less stressful.
that sounds really good. So it's a nice wee starter to bring people in to the event, have a nice wee canopy, or if you're watching TV perhaps during the festive.
Absolutely. It's healthy and high in omega-3 oils, which is so good for the brain, for the body, for everything, for every part of you. And it's got the right kind of fat in it. And this kind of food will make you feel good inside.
Oh, that's a lovely start to our evening. Okay, we'll show another photo now. Let's have a look. Okay, what was that? It looks so nice and fresh. Tell us more.
That was a kale salad with butternut squash, which was roasted and mixed up with a pile of vegetables. So
Simple.
tasty, so healthy, so delicious, so easy to make. And now is the best time because those are winter vegetables and very much in season. So I've made
Oh,
here, as you can
ah,
see, some lovely soup made from butternut squash as well. The easiest thing to make and incredibly healthy. It's got onion in it, and you can see here
let's
I've
see.
also added some pumpkin seeds.
Lovely
Just
pumpkin seeds.
sprinkle them over the top. Pumpkin seeds are great because they've got very healthy oils in them, and they're very high in omega-3 as well. So there you go. That's the perfect warming winter soup.
Yeah, that's lovely at winter time, isn't it? Yeah, lovely plate of healthy soup there.
And you can make a very large batch of it as well and pop lots, divide it all up into portions, pop them in the freezer, and there you are, ready to go.
Now, I know that normally on Christmas Day, people might make broth,
hmm hmm
and obviously that's easy to make a nice pot of broth. This is another alternative, I guess.
Broth is also a very healthy food to eat, specifically if it's made from chicken or beef. Those are very healthy as well. The one thing about broth is to make sure that the ingredients are homemade. Cook it from scratch. Don't pick up a ready-made one. Try and do it all from scratch. And I think part of being in the deaf community is that there's generally a lack of information about cooking around. And so it's just for what a lot of what I do is show people how to do these things from scratch with very simple recipes.
Okay, so that's a really easy alternative for Christmas. It's warming, it's hearty, but it's healthy.
Yeah, lots of different ideas. And seeds are really good with soups too.
Lovely. Okay, so we've spoken about the blini, we've spoken about soup. Let's have a look at the next photo.
So
I'm now
yeah,
starving.
that's the Christmas meal itself. Turkey with lots of winter vegetables.
But turkey, is it? It's not fattening though.
Okay, well, the Christmas meal normally that we would have in the UK and Scotland will have turkey with Brussels sprouts,
Oh,
which I
not
love.
my favourite.
Don't
No, no,
boil
not at
them.
all.
Roast them in the oven. They taste so much better if you put them in the oven and roast them.
Right, okay,
And then there's cranberry sauce. However, make your own at home
okay.
from scratch. The ready-made ones are typically very high in sugar. So
Ah,
make
of
your own.
course.
Then potatoes, preferably sweet potatoes, and a
And
little
they're
bit of sweet
better.
potatoes fine, just not too much.
So you not traditional potatoes, white potatoes. You mean sweet potatoes are better.
But then there's carrots, which are healthy. And within the Christmas meal, it can be a really healthy meal to eat. Just focus on the turkey and the vegetables and put more
Okay.
of those in your plate than anything else.
Yeah.
Less potatoes and not so much gravy. Careful
Ah,
with
oh,
it.
that's difficult not to do, Naomi.
But I would suggest again that you make your own gravy. If you go for the shop bought models, you'll have the same problems as before. They typically have a lot of preservatives in them, a lot of chemicals. And if you pick up a pack and you see a lot of words in the ingredients that you don't understand, you don't recognize, a lot of E numbers, that kind of thing, that shows you that it's a lot of preservatives, and I would avoid those.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Good tip.
E numbers are basically those artificial preservatives, so make your own gravy. It tastes much better too.
So your advice is for Christmas Day to, yep, have turkey, chicken, whatever protein you have, but then really fill your plate with vegetables, which will be better and healthy.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if you think of a normal plate, make about 1/4 of the plate filled with turkey and maybe chicken, 1/4. The majority of the plate should be filled with vegetables, Brussels sprouts, carrots, all sorts of different types of peas, that kind of thing. And then a small part of the plate, a couple of bits of sweet potatoes or white potatoes, but that should be the smallest portion on the plate. A little bit of gravy, perhaps, but not too much. The most important thing is enjoy your food.
Of course.
Enjoy it. Enjoy your meal. Very important that you actually enjoy it because the body and the mind are all one. So when you are enjoying something that way, your gut will digest the food better, and that makes a massive difference to everything. So
Lovely. So it's
avoid
all
the stress,
relevant.
enjoy the food.
So when we talk about sauce, you mentioned making your own cranberry sauce, for example, or your own gravy, trying to avoid shop bought stuff. We have had a question from our audience already. Someone has asked here, we're going to put it up on screen. So here we have a question from Olive, and she's asked about where would she look to find information on cranberry sauce and homemade gravy recipes.
Hi there, Olive. Just Google, I would say, and type in cranberry recipes. Now, when you do that, a lot of the time, what you will get are recipes that have a lot of sugar in them. So there's a bit of an issue around sugar. And if you're looking around and you can't find anything that really doesn't suit your needs, you can email me. I know it's difficult because cranberries are a fruit that are actually quite bitter and sugar makes them sweeter. And we know that. Sometimes it's better to make cranberry sauce with a little bit of sugar. It does help. because, but the problem is if you buy the ready-made ones in the shop, they arrive with artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners aren't good for you, and it is better to have normal natural sugar in smaller quantities that you can enjoy than a lot of artificial sweeteners.
Thank you. That's definitely given us food for thought, and what we do to find an alternative instead of shop bought. So thank you.
I also should have said that applesauce can also be quite popular at Christmas too.
Of course,
Applesauce
that's
and
right.
turkey are a great combination.
Ooh, that sounds lovely. What about chicken? What sauce would you have with chicken? Same,
Whatever you
apple,
like.
cranberry?
Yeah, give it a go.
Good. Okay, apple, cranberry. Yeah, there's other options here. Good. Looking forward to that. And healthy options in the
I'm feeling
bargain. Good.
hungry. I'm feeling hungry with all
Yeah.
these conversations.
Okay, let's have another look at some photos. Oh, I love hummus. Oh, you have some here now. Oh, beautiful. Bring it closer to your camera so we can see. Bring it a little closer to the screen. Let the audience see that plate. Ah, lovely. What is this one on your left?
So on the large plate, we have a plate of crudités. So those are raw vegetables. We've got celery sticks. We've got some radishes, red pepper, and they're all chopped up and put around the outside. Then I've got homemade hummus. That's made from chickpeas. It's very easy. You stick them in the blender and throw whatever you want in with them. And then in the
Who
other
likes this
dish,
one?
that's called tzatziki, and it's a Greek yogurt with cucumber chopped up and then some garlic added and some lemon.
So
Mix
it
them.
is just to clarify. So what is within the tzatziki? So it's Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt, cucumber grated,
Okay. And thirdly,
garlic,
garlic. Oh, okay.
and some lemon squeeze, juice. Just mix them all together, and that's another dip.
And that's
So
all?
simple.
Those four ingredients? Wow.
And then you use your crudités to go into the dips, and that's it. And I love these because they're so colorful. You've got orange, red, green. They're so colorful, and they look really well. They look appetizing.
Absolutely.
And the way that our body is, when the mind sees something that's colorful, it prepares the gut for the fact that the food is coming. It secretes juices within the gut to be ready to digest the food, which is why I love something like this. And it's so easy, so cheap to make. There you go.
Yeah, I think it's very attractive when you see a colourful plate for sure. It's really nice.
And there's no guilt in it. You can eat away
Yeah,
without feeling guilty.
yeah, so good.
If there are certain foods that you're trying to avoid coming up to Christmas, a big plate of crudité like this with a few dips means that as you're chatting to friends, you can be nibbling away with no guilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pile of vegetables with a few healthy things. And then there's no need to feel any guilt later on or the next day because you've eaten really good food.
So can I ask, the crudité and so on, is it best to eat after dinner?
Earlier, actually, at start before. Instead of canapes, it's kind of the same time as you put canapes out, I put the crudités out then.
Okay, it's a wee bit of a warm up
I
then
know
to
that
the dinner.
depends what kind of party it is, doesn't it?
So I was thinking about a night snack, perhaps, if you're sitting watching EastEnders Christmas program or whatever you're going to watch that evening, instead of crisps and snacks in that way. And of course, I
Absolutely.
love crisps.
Absolutely. Well, this is much better for you. It's a habit that you can change, have it available. You can nibble away, but you don't need the guilt with it.
Olives, yes.
You could put olives in that mixture too. Those are also healthy. and you don't need to think too much about it. Just put it at it and then eat.
So you can keep half, eat it tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah. The hummus will last several days. It will.
It looks lovely, really lovely. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for going to the trouble of making all that so we can see this tonight.
Oh, I've had a busy day today, getting
Yeah,
ready.
thank you. Really appreciate it. I think these are really simple recipes that
hmm
you've shown so far, and this one especially so colourful.
Color is important when it comes to food. I think a lot of people have pasta, something that, like the soup, for example, was a bright orange. If you're going to have something like pasta all the time, bread, potatoes, rice, that's called beige food.
Okay.
Looks boring.
Yeah, you're actually right, because when I think about it, if you look at you were talking about your blinis there with the salmon, it was very vibrant, and again the soup was colourful, and now your crudité, so it looks really lovely and inviting. So yeah, definitely food for thought to what I'm going to serve during the festive. Now I think we have one more picture. Let's take a look at this. Wow. Oh, that looks delicious. What is that?
Now, if you really feel like you must have something sweet in your life, and a lot of us do need that sweet touch, dark chocolate is a very healthy food. Now, it does need to, it's very high in magnesium,
Can
and
you explain
magnesium,
magnesium?
mm, magnesium is very important for your body. And it's how the chemicals run smoothly through the system, all of that. And magnesium help makes your muscles relax better. Magnesium supports your gut in many ways. It's a really important food for the body overall. And with avocados,
Was it avocado that was on top of the chocolate? Or was
avocado
it
is
inside it?
wonderful because avocado itself is very high in oily fat, and you mix that with the dark chocolate, and it's
Wow.
just the smoothest texture, and it's just a beautiful flavor. I didn't make any, so I can't demonstrate it for you, but that's a lovely sweet dessert that can finish off your Christmas meal or just dark chocolate on its own. As long as it's 70% cocoa or over,
Okay.
that's healthy. Absolutely fine. Or a bit of fruit, one bit of fruit, not too much, maybe an orange. Perfect time of year to get those little oranges, all of that.
So when you were chatting there, you talked about fruit, of course. Is Can I ask, is all fruit good for you? What is the best ones, really?
Fruit is good, but yeah, and on its own, fruit is very healthy. It certainly is. Now, we do have to bear in mind that fruit has a lot of natural sugar in it, and each fruit is different in that regard in terms of how much fruit there would be in it. So I would say aim for a maximum of two different fruits every day. The reason for that being that if you eat too much fruit, then you may spike your blood sugar levels. And that
Okay.
can lead to diabetes, it can lead to weight gain, a lot of different problems. But yeah, a couple of bits of fruit a day, that'll do.
Now, we know that we were told repeatedly to have five fruit or veg every day. Is that correct still?
It's fruit and veg, not just fruit on its own. Okay, it's important to be clear about that. That was government guidelines that we should eat five types of fruit and vegetables, mostly vegetables, but not so fruit, but they never really clarified that, to be honest. My recommendation is aim for a minimum of 6 or 7 different vegetables every day, plus 2 different fruits every day.
That
That's
is
my
really
recommendation.
interesting.
But they need to be varied. You can't do the same vegetables and fruit all the time. Now, what I would say is don't make it something that you're overthinking and worrying about. That platter that I showed you with the crudités, I've got what, four different types of vegetables on one plate without thinking too much.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it's more veg, really, less fruit.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of natural sugars in fruit, and we all love it, but don't take too much. Obviously, oranges are in season, so this is the time to eat them.
Thank you so much. You've given us so many ideas already this evening. Soup, your blinis, your crudité, and that chocolate pudding with the avocado. Even when you were talking about the crudité, having those vegetables and being able to, that's four just in that plate alone. I mean, there's so much choice, really.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, it's lovely. I think we were always talking about it should be fruit that we eat regularly during the day. So it's nice to know that we should have alternatives as vegetables. That's lovely. Yeah, we were talking about Christmas pudding, for example.
Yeah. I mean, if you have Christmas pudding, then think about that, what I showed you there, avocado with dark chocolate instead. Yeah.
Or even crisps and snacks, those things that you turn to in
And
the evening.
replace those with your crudité. Chop up your vegetables and
Yeah,
put those out instead.
really good idea.
Or you could use apple or banana, blueberries, and you can make a healthy one instead.
Lovely. Thank you so much. So we have another question from the audience. Joy Collins. Now, Joy makes the point that, times are tough and people are struggling with household bills, and vegetables can be expensive. So if you're recommending 6, 7 per day,
Well, one bit of advice would be to go for frozen vegetables. They cost not so much, they're very accessible. You can get frozen peas, frozen carrots, frozen sweet corn, a lot of sweet potatoes you can get that are frozen. Throw those in the freezer, and then when you're making a pie or a curry or a soup, then you can just throw them in. I fully understand. Food is expensive in general at the minute, it really is. But it's better to eat two or three rather than none.
of course. Yeah, it doesn't have to be 6 or 7.
Absolutely. But remember, fresh and frozen are both excellent options.
Lovely. Thank you. I hope that answered Joy's question there. Thank you. It's just about the cost of living and saving money at the moment.
Absolutely. Keep your eye open and have a look around and see where you can get it a little bit cheaper.
Now, obviously, Joy has raised the issue about things that are expensive, and we know that there is still the cost of living crisis at the moment, and people are struggling to afford some necessities. So, where do we go in terms of saving our pennies when it comes to healthy eating? What is your advice to our audience?
I would recommend that when you manage to get a lot of cheaper vegetables, get a whole pile of them. So get double or triple what you might use and go for batch cooking. Batch cook in general. So if you're making a chicken curry or a vegetable curry or something like a soup, make large quantities, split them up into portions, put them in the freezer, put them away. Those are ready for whenever you need them. And that's
Very
one
true.
way to have an economical approach to food. Another one is meal planning. I know people don't like that word. They think it's a bit boring, but it makes such a difference. If you effectively plan out what you're going to eat for your meals, you know in advance what you're going to be eating during the week, then that is a more cost effective way to do it. Many people don't do that. They get home from work, open the fridge, and think, oh, there's nothing there, nothing to eat. So they end up just getting a takeaway because there's nothing to
Of
eat.
course.
Well,
And
that's
that's expensive.
the most expensive. If you really approach a very organized way of planning your meals, that is more cost effective And you can identify what is cheaper and easier to do if you've got it all planned out. So if you come across something in the shop that is cheaper at that time, so if you go and you see that fish is, cheaper at that time, or there's chicken that just so happens to be cheaper at that time, or chickpeas on offer.
Okay.
I mean, those don't cost much. They really don't cost much. They're not expensive, and you can bulk buy chickpeas.
Lovely. So you could, yeah, portion those out.
So it is around planning in advance. That's how to budget.
So I think you're right. I mean, planning is key, isn't it? When you come to Christmas time, you could cook your Christmas dinner. You can have leftovers. You can overcook, so you've got plenty, and you could
Hmm.
have those for the next couple of days, or use the turkey or chicken and make sandwiches. Yeah, so we can utilize those leftovers. It's a good idea.
Oh, there's so many different ways that you can go about it.
Now, can I ask? I'm looking at your lovely table there with the things you have beside you. Can you explain some of those to our audience?
So a lot of people want to think about what they can make at home. So let's think of drinks. And here's some cocoa
Coke.
powder. Now, a lot of people automatically assume that you should go for hot chocolate and that as a drink is unhealthy. Now, the cheap versions, so if you go to the likes of Cadbury's and get the hot chocolate, it is cheap and there will be a lot of sugar, etc., mixed in with the powder. If you go for cocoa powder, it is just cocoa powder. Mix that with something like this almond butter,
Almond milk, yeah.
almond milk, which can be a little bit more pricey now, almond milk. It's a couple of pounds there. So almond milk, um, or just any other milk, or cow's milk, or oat milk, whatever milk you use, that's what I would have available because dark chocolate is healthy. And then something like this,
Yeah, what is this mother root? Yeah.
Mother Root's amazing stuff. It's made from ginger and it's really fiery. It's got a real kick to it.
And you make a drink with it then?
Yeah, you only take a little bit at a time. Let me see if I can show you just a tiny little bit. That's all
Oh,
you need.
it's, yeah, it's not a lot. And then what?
And then you put in water or sparkling water and fill that up. For me, it feels like I'm drinking a cocktail. And this means that you don't really miss the taste of alcohol. You can put soda water, sparkling water, fresh water in there, and it tastes
It's,
to me like a cocktail because it's just got that sparkle in it. Or you could put fresh mint in the top. I love the flavor of that. This Mother Root bottle is expensive to buy, but did you see how much I had to use there? So little. So for me, this bottle would probably last 6 or 7 months,
oh,
even up to a
yeah.
year.
So it's not something I've came across before. So you obviously get a lot out of that bottle. So that's lovely. Now, what have you got in here?
So you won't be able to see it very clearly, but let me show you what's in this bit.
What's inside?
In the tea strainer, I've got ginger, fresh lemon, and thyme. Those herbs. Can you see the herb there? That's thyme.
Yeah, lovely.
And it's a different, warm, healthy drink.
So it might be nice for Christmas Day. Yeah, something to savour and sip
Absolutely.
on.
So when you finished your meal, and very often around Christmas, there's a lot of alcohol sitting. And that's okay if that's what you want.
But
But
if you're feeling bloated, then does that help? Yeah.
Mother root is really good as an alternative for those situations. Actually, I don't have it here, but another suggestion I have is to use kombucha.
What is kombucha, Naomi?
It's another drink, and it has live, healthy bacteria in it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, there's no alcohol in it. But again, as I've said with other drinks, you have that buzz when you drink it. It feels like a treat. And for me, it almost tastes as if I'm drinking alcohol, but I'm not. So if you have a glass of wine or a beer, just remember that if for every alcoholic drink you take, you should have the same amount of water. So with each alcoholic drink, take water, and that reduces the impact of those. Because if you only have alcohol going in, it has a lot of impact on your body. So balance that off with a glass of water for each alcoholic drink you take, and that will really help you feel much better the next day.
Thank you. That's really good advice. Good tip for our audience. So you can still enjoy overindulging if you like, but you get some water and some hydration in you as well. Now, we do have a comment from Sandra, and again about vegetables. She talks about buying frozen peas and sweet corn packs. Not sure about frozen carrots or cauliflowers from the supermarket, whether they're worth buying. Do they have the same nutrients?
The answer is absolutely yes. Go for it because sometimes frozen vegetables are more healthy, more healthy than fresh vegetables. Vegetables that grow in the field, when they are picked, are frozen within a very short time frame. And that is what preserves the nutrients in the vegetables. You think about fresh vegetables from the time that they're picked, then put through some kind of factory, and then shipped or flown or whatever, and then get to the shops, and then get to your house could be easily a week. And 1 week later, the nutritional value within those vegetables will have dropped. So I would absolutely say go for frozen vegetables where possible.
Lovely. That's a really good piece of advice.
Keep an eye out for special offers and stock up your freezer. Sometimes you'll get those buy two, get one free. So I would have a lot sitting in my freezer.
That's a lovely piece of advice, and I hope that answers Sandra's question. Okay, now, what about we talked about other healthy options during Christmas Day? If it's not meat, what's a choice here?
So for vegans and vegetarians, you have tofu, you have chickpeas, and there's a lot of different beans and pulses that you can use. There's lots of vegetables, uh, so much that you can eat. There's fish options, lots and lots of vegetables that you can use. There's so many options. Some people like eggs as well.
Of course, yeah, fabulous. Okay, now we have another question from, let us see if this comes up. Rosie Hunter? I don't think we have on screen. We have Rosalind Hunter, yes. So Rosalind mentions frozen or fresh chicken. Which is good?
I don't really think it matters. I think either are fine. What I would say is just make sure, no, to be honest, no, there's no difference. No, no, they're fine.
Okay,
Just make sure you get as good quality chicken as you can. That's the one thing I would say.
of course, that's a good tip. Okay, let's have a look at any other questions coming up. Now, Sandra, who made a comment earlier, again, she's mentioned frozen vegetables that are pre-cooked. before going into the frozen packs, do they lose any of the nutrients then?
Absolutely. You are better to buy the raw frozen ones as an option. That is correct. I can remember years ago buying a vegetable mix for stir fry, and it was frozen. And I'll never forget it because I got home and read the ingredient list on the back and then realized that with that they had oils and sugar in with vegetables. And I hadn't checked, so I hadn't thought that that was a possibility. My recommendation is always read the ingredient list on the pack. Make a
Yeah.
habit of it.
I think people just grab things in the shop.
Factories do this. They put in additives, they put in preservatives, they put in sugar. They just do. You want raw vegetables. That's it. If they are words that you recognize, they're probably better.
That's a good tip. Less additives, of course. Okay, now if there are people now with Christmas approaching, they might be anticipating a house party, inviting along family and friends, and there might be some anxieties that come along with that because you go to a party and you're not really quite sure what you should eat when you're trying to be healthy or try losing weight.
And especially this time of year because it's busy and we want to enjoy ourselves. We want to have fun. And I think you're right. People do get very anxious about the whole thing. And a lot of the time when you arrive at a party, you get in there hungry and therefore everything looks delicious. And you think, I have to eat some of this and some of that because it looks delicious because you feel hungry. So, my biggest tip is if you're invited somewhere, eat a little bit before you go, which means that when you arrive, you'll actually have a greater sense of control because you'll be able to take time because you're not starving, you're not really hungry, and it'll make you make choices around what you should and shouldn't eat. Getting to a party when you're over hungry is difficult because you tend to just grab food because you just want to eat and you're hungry.
That is a good tip. So we eat before, you'll eat less at the party, and you can control that much better. So that's a really lovely tip. Thank you.
And aim for the healthy types of foods. You have a quick scan around, see what's available, identify what's healthy, so where the vegetables are, where the nuts are, where the cheeses are, where the fruit is, work out where they are and go for them. Ultra processed foods are the ones that we want to avoid.
Yeah, what are ultra processed foods?
Things like sausage rolls or the naughty foods. And having one of those is okay, but recognize them for what they are, have one but no more.
Yeah, I think sometimes you forget and you go for it and you're really disappointed thereafter when you've overindulged.
Um,
With
um,
those things, hummus, for example, you don't feel guilty.
And if you go for a hummus, you'll not only feel better about yourself, but you'll feel better the next day. And it's always important to bear in mind that when we do overindulge, tomorrow is a new day. Start again and get back on the healthy food journey.
Of course, don't worry about that. Just move forward and think about the future. Okay, that's really positive, Naomi. Thank you. Okay, let me have a look here at my notes. Now, again, with Christmas fast approaching, people may be looking at buying some books or looking to find some recipes that they can use during Christmas on Google, for example. Have you got any advice with that?
Oh, there's so much out there on the internet that you could find. Um, it gets confusing. I do have an ebook that I could email through. There are some people who know me who already have that, the one that I have. Within my ebook, I have some useful recipes. I have some healthy tips. That is possible. If you want that, get in touch, send me an email, or contact me via Facebook. I'm happy to send that ebook out to you if you don't have it already. It's a short recipe book and it's handy because it's got healthy recipes in it.
That's lovely. And here we see the address to your Facebook page. So lovely. If anybody wants to perhaps get in touch with you, they can. I know you've been involved in various groups and so on. And this is your Facebook group as well. Or is that established as yet? Sorry. So it means you can get in and you can click on this address and see more information on Naomi or get in contact with you directly, Naomi. So that is really lovely. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Avril. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You're such a fabulous coach here, nutritional coach. So thank you. Now we have another question here coming from the audience from Karen. Now she's asking about eating plum tomatoes or salad tomatoes as a healthy option.
Okay, so plum tomatoes or salad tomatoes, which are healthier? Oh, they're both fine. They're both healthy. I would say that when you're cooking with tomatoes, actually they're healthier when they're cooked because it activates a chemical when you cook them. And particularly for men's health, that's really important. It's called lycopene. And so when you cook tomatoes, that comes out. And for men's health, that's really important, particularly when it comes to sperm health and all that kind of thing. It's a really excellent vegetable. The more you can eat of them, whatever they are, the better.
Oh, that's very interesting. I think there's another question coming up. Oh, apologies. So, yeah, so you've given us plenty of tips this evening. And when we get Christmas out the way, we get into January. What advice would you give people? Because, they've indulged on nuts and crisps and so on. What's your advice post-Christmas?
Well, in my experience, a lot of people will say to me that they're not going to worry about anything until Christmas out of the way. So they're going to just drink and eat whatever, eat crap food, just drink whatever, enjoy Christmas. Sure, then when it gets the other side of Christmas, then they'll start to go healthy. Do you know what
Mm,
happens? They actually don't. Because what happens then is the January blues hit because you've then overindulged so much that you feel awful, and then the weather turns cold and you still feel awful. My advice is to start now. Get into good, healthy habits, exercise well, eat well. Start all that early. And my recommendation would be is that if you want to be more healthy, then start now. Don't wait until after.
Now, in November.
Make the small changes. Add one
Mm,
more vegetable every day.
true.
Cut out sugar in your tea or coffee. Have one less alcoholic drink. Make those small changes now.
Yeah, so not cold turkey, not straight away.
No, if you try and do it that way, you're setting yourself up for failure. Take a slow, controlled approach to it and enjoy your food because you will start to feel better. And once you start to feel better, then you don't want to go back. You want to keep that feeling going of well being and health. You want that to continue. So, my recommendation is go for it now. Get started.
Okay, so my question, my own personal question is, my favourite, I have to tell you, is crisps. Please don't tell me to start limiting my crisp intake now. Yep.
Can you reduce it though, Avril? Reduce it. So, for
Ooh,
example, if you're going to have one packet, aim for half the packet.
oh, I don't know.
Pour them out into a bowl and put the other half packet away. Leave the rest in the cupboard and make something like this, which you can then nibble on when you're watching TV.
It's true.
And you won't think about it. Part of it is the nibbling. That's a small change. Go for nuts maybe instead. Depends what you're really focusing on and what you want to achieve.
Yeah, I'll definitely try that. It's a challenge, I'll say for me though, definitely. Now Sandra has come back with another question linked to nuts, funnily enough. So Sandra is asking which nuts have very high fat and which has low fat.
Nuts are all high in fat. However, it depends how healthy the fat is, and some are better than others. So, for example, if I show you these pumpkin seeds,
Okay.
those are fantastic. Or walnuts are very high in omega-3. Almonds are great for you, and there is a lot of research which shows that they help with weight loss. Only a handful at a time, though. Just
Oh,
be mindful
okay.
of quantity.
Okay.
Some of the ones that you probably want to avoid more are the likes of cashew nuts.
Oh, and I like those too.
They are healthy enough, but they are very high in fat. So have them, but just have a small quantity. Peanuts, similar. Have them, but not too many. Go for the other ones more.
Do you know at Christmas time, Naomi, there's a lot of monkey nuts going around? What about those?
Well, again, nuts are healthy, but they tend to be mixed in with oil. And it's typically rapeseed oil, which isn't as good for you. And sometimes there's even sugar in with nuts and a lot of salt. My recommendation around that would be buy plain nuts and put on your own flavorings
Of course. Yeah,
so
I
you
have
can
control.
control how much goes on. Use some herbs, some spices, mix
Mm.
that in and experiment, and that becomes another homemade
Yeah.
snack.
To match my own tastes, I suppose. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, I can see that 8 o'clock is fast approaching. I can't believe we've been speaking for nearly an hour.
Hmm.
Now, I wonder if you have any final tips for our audience this evening. Is there anything you would want to add with Christmas coming along, healthy eating tips that would encourage them to think about alternatives?
What are you thinking about, Avril? Any suggestions for me?
Well, I suppose when people get into January and they're starting to struggle, is there any tips that you could give the audience to encourage more healthy eating at that point?
My recommendation, as was said before, is to start now. Make one positive change for the better and make one change at a time. Go out and about, do some exercise, keep moving your body, and develop a routine. Try and wake up at the same time every day. Go out, be sociable, meet people, because it's important that we stay stimulated and meet people, and that makes us feel better. And if your aim is that in 6 months' time you want to have clear skin, you want to have more energy, that will help. Having a goal in mind about what it is that you want to achieve, that can really help you. Also, avoid stress. If something isn't working out, move on. Move on. Find another approach, another way of doing things. Don't get stressed because everybody's different and every body is different and everyone has their own preferences and their own lifestyle. And that's just one of those things. And what you need to do is to work out what works for you and just you.
Thank you so much. That's really positive tips to finish on, actually. And if any of our audience are interested in finding out more, please get in touch with Naomi directly on our Facebook page, or just directly to Naomi. And before we finish, I know that we wanted to speak a little more about what we're going to offer in January. Now, the BDA want to organise Naomi to come and do a workshop for us. There will be two. One will be to talk about menopause, in terms of nutrition when it comes to menopause. But also there will be another session specifically for men, again about healthy eating, perhaps after Christmas. So when there's a January slump. So we'll have those two sessions, those two workshops with Naomi on Zoom, and that will be throughout Scotland. And so please watch this space. If you're looking for any more information, please get in touch with us. But Naomi will join us again in 2026, and I'm really looking forward to that. And we hope that the Scots will get involved and come along for these workshops. So I'm really hopeful.
And it'll be fun too and enjoyable.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to our audience tonight, thank you so much for your questions. I wonder if there's any final things you want to say, Naomi, before we close. But I do want to thank you for your time this evening, and to everyone, have a great Christmas. And as I said, take those tips on board.
And send me photographs. I love to see photographs of what people are reading. Post some in the Facebook group or email me direct. I love to see what other people are reading. And can I just
That's
say, let's
lovely.
keep it really positive.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Thank you so much. So it's important to plan well in advance, eat your vegetables, think about those blinis and crudités and healthy options. So these tips have been fantastic, and certainly I took on board about the crisp intake for me, and I'll try my best. It'll be a
And,
challenge.
and you'll
Thanks
feel better
again.
for it.
Thank you. I will do for sure. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
along this
Look forward
evening,
to seeing
Naomi.
you again.
Bye.
Bye bye.